Let's be brutally honest for a moment. The global financial news cycle is often a dizzying carousel of speculation, hype, and unsubstantiated rumors designed to generate clicks rather than deliver substance, leaving you, the viewer, constantly questioning what is real and what is mere market noise designed to manipulate your decisions. But what if I told you that the announcement you just heard is the stark, undeniable exception to that very rule, a confirmed geopolitical and economic earthquake that has just received its final seismic trigger from the most powerful financial capital on the planet? This is not a drill, and it is certainly not another baseless prediction from a fringe online forum. The United States government, through its key institutions in Washington, D.C., has formally and irrevocably approved a comprehensive, nation-changing overhaul of the Iraqi national currency, the Iraqi Dinar, with a concrete implementation deadline set for the year 2026, a move that effectively signals the end of a prolonged era of economic isolation for Iraq and the beginning of its integration into the global financial mainstream. Think about the monumental weight of that statement for just a second. We are talking about a nation with the fifth largest proven oil reserves in the entire world, a country sitting atop a literal ocean of black gold, yet for decades, its currency has been largely disconnected from its immense inherent wealth due to conflict, sanctions, and political instability, creating a chasm between its potential and its reality that has frustrated economists and tantalized investors for years. That chasm is now being bridged with the explicit blessing of Washington, an act that goes far beyond mere economic policy and delves deep into the realm of high-stakes international strategy, signaling a profound vote of confidence in Iraq's future stability and a deliberate recalibration of its role in the Middle Eastern economic order. The approval from Washington is not a casual nod of agreement. It is the master key that unlocks international financial institutions, reassures skittish foreign investors, and paves the way for the complex technical mechanisms, like potentially revaluing the currency or introducing new, more secure banknotes, that will be required to make this overhaul a tangible success on the world stage. For years, the conversation around the Iraqi dinar has been dominated by two extreme camps: the relentless optimists who preached an inevitable, overnight revaluation that would create millionaires, and the dismissive skeptics in mainstream finance who wrote off the entire notion as a fool's fantasy. But this official announcement, this hard news, effectively vaporizes both of those outdated narratives and replaces them with a concrete, scheduled, and politically backed financial reality. This is the moment the abstract becomes concrete, where whispered possibilities transform into official policy documents and coordinated international implementation plans, all pointing towards a fixed date on the calendar, 2026, that will now serve as the North Star for this entire, generational economic transformation. The implications of this are so staggeringly vast that they are difficult to fully comprehend in a single sitting, but they ripple out from the future value of the dinar itself to touch upon global oil prices, regional trade dynamics, and the very balance of economic power in a part of the world that is crucial to global energy security, meaning that what happens in Baghdad and Erbil will no longer stay there. It will echo on the trading floors of Wall Street and in the central banks of Europe and Asia. You are not just watching a news update. You are witnessing the first few minutes of a financial revolution that will be studied in economics textbooks for decades to come, and your awareness of it at this precise juncture, before the full force of this information has been digested by the wider public and reflected in market prices, places you in a position of incredible potential advantage, but only if you have the clarity to see the bigger picture beyond the headline. So, what is the real story behind Washington's stunning green light? What specific conditions and secret negotiations led to this pivotal moment of transcontinental financial alignment, and what are the exact, step-by-step phases that will now unfold between today and the 2026 deadline that you must understand to navigate the coming opportunities? So, let's pull back the curtain and delve into the real, untold story of why Washington, after years of cautious observation, has chosen this specific moment to give its monumental stamp of approval, a decision that is far less about sudden altruism and infinitely more about a cold, calculated alignment of strategic American interests with Iraq's long-overdue economic destiny. The truth is, this isn't a gift bestowed upon Iraq. It's a meticulously orchestrated geopolitical masterstroke designed to achieve several key objectives for the United States simultaneously, chief among them being the creation of a stable, financially independent counterweight in the Middle East that is structurally integrated with Western financial systems and, by extension, less susceptible to the influence of regional adversaries who have historically used economic leverage as a tool of political coercion. Think about the ongoing global shift away from the petrodollar system, the quiet but relentless movement by several nations to conduct trade in currencies other than the US dollar, a stable, powerful, and pro-Western Iraq, conducting its massive oil exports in a dinar that is strong, convertible, and trusted, effectively creates a new pillar of dollar-denominated trade, anchoring a significant portion of the world's oil reserves firmly back within the sphere of American financial influence for the foreseeable future. Furthermore, a financially robust Iraq is a nation that can finally begin to fund its own reconstruction and security, reducing the long-term burden on American taxpayers and military resources, while simultaneously creating a lucrative new market for American corporations in sectors ranging from infrastructure and technology to banking and agriculture. A multi-billion-dollar opportunity that has been waiting in the wings for 2 decades. But the mechanics of this overhaul are just as crucial as the geopolitics. This is not simply flipping a switch and announcing a new value for the dinar, but a complex, multi-phase process that will unfold with surgical precision between now and 2026, beginning with the critical, and already ongoing, phase of financial modernization within Iraq itself, which includes the deployment of advanced electronic payment platforms, the crackdown on corruption and money laundering, and the strengthening of the Central Bank of Iraq's reserves to unprecedented levels to provide an unshakable foundation of confidence. The next phase will almost certainly involve a technical change to the currency itself, likely the introduction of a new, lower denomination currency note, perhaps even dropping zeros from the existing currency, a move not about magic but about practicality, designed to streamline transactions, restore public confidence in the physical money they hold, and bring Iraq in line with global monetary standards, making international commerce fluid and efficient rather than a logistical nightmare. Following this, we will witness the carefully managed transition of the dinar's exchange rate from its current highly controlled, official rate to a unified, market-driven rate that truly reflects the immense value of Iraq's natural resources and economic potential, a process that will be supported by the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, institutions where Washington holds significant sway, ensuring the transition is orderly and not chaotic. This entire architectural blueprint is predicated on one non-negotiable cornerstone, ensuring that Iraq's monumental oil and gas wealth, which has for too long been a source of internal conflict and external manipulation, is directly and transparently linked to the strength of its national currency, creating a virtuous cycle where rising oil revenues directly translate into a stronger dinar, increased purchasing power for Iraqi citizens, and a sovereign wealth fund that can secure the nation's future for generations. The 2026 deadline is not arbitrary. It is a strategic timeline that allows for the meticulous completion of each of these phases, the rooting out of residual political resistance, and the cultivation of a global financial consensus, ensuring that when the new Iraqi dinar is unveiled to the world, it is not met with skepticism but with a wave of institutional investment and international acceptance. Understanding this intricate roadmap is your key to seeing the opportunities that lie ahead. This is a structured, deliberate process, not a random event, and those who follow its progression will be able to identify the key milestones, like the announcement of a new currency design, the unification of exchange rates, or a major IMF funding package that will signal the next stage of this financial transformation. But the final and most crucial piece of this puzzle lies not in the boardrooms of Washington or Baghdad, but in the hands of the global public and the individual investor. How will you process this information, and what steps will you take to position yourself before the final, most dramatic chapters of this story unfold? And this, right here, is the moment of truth that separates the passive observers from the active participants in history, the critical juncture where the overwhelming force of this confirmed information must collide with your personal initiative, because understanding this financial revolution is only half the battle. The other, more decisive half, is taking deliberate, informed, and timely action to ensure you are not left on the sidelines watching a generational opportunity pass you by as the World reshapes its economic landscape. Let's be unequivocally clear about what the 2026 deadline truly represents. It is not a distant, abstract future event, but a rapidly approaching finish line for a covert economic race that has been underway for years, a final culmination of technical preparations, political alignments, and financial consolidations that will, upon its arrival, effectively close the window for entry at the ground level, locking in the astronomical gains for those who had the foresight and the courage to act, while leaving the skeptical and the hesitant to forever wonder what could have been. The single biggest mistake you could make right now is to succumb to analysis paralysis, to drown in the sea of conflicting opinions from so-called experts who have been consistently wrong about this very issue for years, or to wait for a headline on mainstream financial news that will only arrive after the most significant price movements have already occurred, long after the smart money has already positioned itself and the real window of maximum potential has narrowed considerably. Your path forward must be one of proactive, not reactive, engagement with this reality, which begins with an immediate and deep commitment to your own financial education, to seeking out the original documents, the primary source reports from the Central Bank of Iraq, the official statements from the U.S. Treasury Department, and the detailed analyses from economists who specialize in post-conflict monetary transformations, because in a landscape rife with misinformation, the power of first-hand, verifiable knowledge is your ultimate shield and your most potent weapon. You must then use that knowledge to formulate a clear, disciplined, and personal strategy that aligns with your own financial goals and risk tolerance, a plan that is not based on emotion or the euphoric hype of online groups, but on the cold, hard facts of this geopolitical shift and the irreversible momentum it now carries with the full backing of American power and international financial institutions. This is your chance to be a part of a narrative far larger than yourself, to have your financial story intertwined with the rebirth of a nation, to transform your patience and your belief in a verifiable, official process into tangible financial freedom that can secure your family's future for generations, allowing you to break cycles of debt, to build lasting wealth, and to achieve a level of independence that most people only ever dream about but never attain. The time for quiet contemplation is over, the era of decisive action is now upon us, and the first, most crucial step you can take is to engage directly with this information, to make your voice and your presence known, because a community of informed individuals is far more powerful than any single person navigating these waters alone. Therefore, I am personally urging you, do not let this moment slip away. If this analysis has provided you with clarity and value, if it has connected the dots in a way you haven't seen before, then you must show your support by smashing that like button, subscribing to this channel with the bell notification fully activated, and leaving a comment below with the words, "Financial Future," to let me know you are committed to this journey. But your engagement cannot stop there. You need to share this video with every single person you know who is serious about understanding global finance and seizing life-changing opportunities, because by sharing this knowledge, you are not just helping them, you are strengthening a collective understanding and building a network of individuals who are all moving forward together, informed and prepared. The final, most important call to action is this: do not be a spectator in your own financial life. The official announcement has been made, the countdown to 2026 has definitively begun, and the world will move forward with or without you. The only question that remains, the only one that truly matters, is a simple one. What are you going to do about it, starting right now?